Hi, Mark from Chartbait here. For the past year or so, we've been trying to develop a new product under the Toro Tamer name, which I think you're going to find pretty interesting. But maybe before getting into that, we should go through a little bit of history for 30 seconds or so. The super braided lines that have come on the market over the last 10 or 15 years are really the result of some innovative work and some creative minds. And before we talk about our product, I ought to mention a couple of people that have been instrumental in developing these lines that have benefited the long-range fishing community. First and foremost is a fellow who passed away a few years ago named Russ Iser from Iser Line. Russ did an awful lot for the sport fishing community on the West Coast, from being a skipper, from developing artificial reefs on his own, to doing a number of different things and creating Iser Line. And he's the one who brought that product, as far as Spectra, to the sport fishing community. Credit goes to him and his legacy for that. Another person over the last 7, 8 years, maybe at most, is Jerry Brown. Jerry Brown did an awful lot in terms of educating people, making use of the internet, and working on a hollow core product. And that's a contribution I think Jerry made that should be recognized. But here's a little dose of reality for you. Within this country, the vast majority of braided lines get the raw materials from one source. Then they go to basically 3 firms in this country that are capable of doing the braiding. And all these companies that sell Spectra within the U.S. get the raw materials, have the braiding done, and none of them make the line themselves, not a one of them, of the people that count. Iser Line, produced by another company, they have their own denier, they have their own style of line, that's theirs, it's locked up, they do it. Jerry Brown, same story. Cortland, they do their own braiding, but raw materials all come from the same source. That's the case with everyone. Powder Pro, that's the way it works. Now, when you have one source for things, you have an opportunity for a little restraint of competition. Competition's a good thing. I believe in it. Adam Smith did too. And it makes the world go the way it's supposed to. Our shrinking sized world. So I looked to produce the product and looked to go outside the box and to kind of escape that situation. If the product is right, that works for everyone. And that's a little check and balance within the economy as far as I'm concerned. So that's what we did, and it took some time to get the product developed appropriately. And that time was well spent. And at this point, we have some excellent products on the market. And because we're outside the loop and we're thinking outside the box, we have some advantages to the consumer, which puts us in a unique position. The Toro Tamer braid is the same as other products. The way this stuff works, within the U.S. it's called Spectra. Outside the U.S. and Asia and some Europe, it's Dyneema. Someplace else, it's something else. These are all trade names for gel spun polyethylene line. That's what the stuff is. It's the stuff you get milk out of, the plastic jugs, produced in a particular fashion. And that's what it is. So the benefits with Spectra, we've been on the forefront of this for probably 15 years and have been the largest dealer for most of these guys, whether it be Jerry Brown or Iser Line or whatever. We've been there from the beginning. We've been a significant player in that. We've spooled more reels and introduced more people to this product than anyone else has. And at this point in time, it's used not only in the long range community, but in a lot of different applications as well, because braided lines, or super braid, has zero stretch. You don't have memory issues. It lasts for a decade or longer, and you can get more of it on a high quality reel, which has made the ability of fishing smaller gear for bigger fish something that we can do, and that's a heck of a lot more fun. So it works on conventional reels, it works on spinning reels. That zero stretch means you can use less lead. In the thinner diameter, you can use less lead to attain depth, and you can feel a fish fart. So it's sensitive in that respect. There are some properties braided lines don't do so well. They don't give you stretch where you might want it, like on the troll. So we recommend using more of a mono top shot at that point in time. So okay, that's the background of braid. That's my little history lesson and recognition of a couple of the guys that did a lot to develop this product. Our product. We have both quote-unquote solid, which is actually a stranded product, but it doesn't have an opening in the middle. It doesn't have a hollow core, okay? And we have hollow. And we have two different styles of hollow. At present time, we go in the solid 20, 30, 50, 60, and 100 pound. We skip 80, we skip 130 and 200 at this point in that type of line. That line is great for filling up a reel, works really, really well in that respect, and it's economical. But the stuff that's more interesting is the hollow core. The hollow core opens up a lot of different rigging possibilities for you. That line we do in an 8 strand and also in a 16 strand. The 16 strand is the kind, if you're trying to do inline rigging where you're putting your leader inside or you're running a solid line inside, and then you're trying to attain a knotless connection with your leader on the other end. It's brilliant for that. 16 strand opens up like nothing else on the market. Blackwater came to the market with a Dyneema several years ago, which caught on very, very well, except for one small thing. To fill up a small bait caster with their 50-pound hollow was something like 300 bucks. Yeah, I remember the first time a fella did that, spooled up a little bait caster, and it was like 370 bucks on a reel that cost him 120 bucks. And, you know, he asked us to do it. We did it. And it was like, wow. I felt guilty for them. I'm sure he did too, but that's what he wanted, and he put it on there. And so now you've got this little bait caster for catching sand bass with, you know, $400 and 300 of it, more than 300 of it is in the braid. Well, that's what happened to Blackwater. It kind of went and spiraled down and hasn't done much in terms of sales on their braided product. That hasn't been a strength for them, and the price was just so doggone high it was prohibitive. In the case of us, well, you know, Toro Tamer is coming to market very aggressively. And there are a few things that we're going to do in that respect that differentiate us from anybody else out there. Every other company, you've got different prices for different tests. We're not. We're going to be family priced. It's going to be the same if you're buying 40 pound as if you're buying 130 pound on the braid. That's a big advantage. Right now, in the hollow core, 16 strand, we have 40 pound, 50 pound, 60 pound, 80 pound, 100 pound, 130 pound. They're all going to be family priced exactly the same. The price is going to be aggressive. Now, that's going to set somebody probably upset with us, but the reality is there's no reason why it shouldn't be, other than some of the marketing that's occurring here in this country. That's my opinion. You can disagree. Other manufacturers can disagree. I don't really care. This is how we're coming to market. So we have family pricing, and we have 16 strand where everybody else is looking at 8 or 12. Rarely do you see 16. A couple of companies have, but it's pricey. We're going to be very competitive. We'll be looking like, you know, a 12 strand product, but 16 strands. The benefit with 16 strands is that it opens up better. It's easier to work with. It opens up wider than how can I say this nicely, a $20, no, I won't say it, but the stuff opens up really, really well. And it grips very, very well when you put tension to it and do the old, you know, Chinese finger cuff, connection where you have one line into the other and you pull like, you know, the old finger trap. When you pull, it tightens down, and that's what this 16 strand does. Brilliant stuff to work with. The right tests. That 40 pound, being as skinny as a 40 is, opens up a whole new realm, you know, for the use of braided lines. For the guys running spinners, wonderful. And not only can you put the line inside the line, you can go ahead and splice in a loop, and then you can use a wind-on connection. That lends itself real well to a smaller diameter connection and quick change of your leaders. So, you know, this really is where the future is with lines, in my opinion, for many, many applications. It may not be perfect for everything, but doggone it, it has a wide range of applications, and it's a darn good product. And our product, I think, is right up there. We have the solid, you know, we have hollow core, and we also have the small 25-meter spools of the hollow. And folks will use that, the smaller spool, for making up wind-on connections, or if they're just trying to go from solid to hollow. That's where it comes in. It is very appropriate. In the next few minutes, we'll go ahead and show just a couple of quick connections. I'm no pro at this stuff. I'm an old knot guy, and I've made kind of a transition, and at this point, this is what I'm doing on my gear. We have some wonderful tools available from Lanny Daho with the Daho needles, wide range of stuff that we didn't have in the old days. In the old days, we had needles from Burns and from Smitty, a couple of West Coast companies. At this point, Lanny has kind of run with it. Who knows where we're at 10 years from now. But at this point, Lanny just ran with the ball, and he has needles going down to a 20-pound mono diameter size for inserting the leader into the Spectra. And so 40-pound is very workable these days, where before there wasn't the product that was workable and there weren't the needles to make life easy. Now we have the needles, and with Toro Tamer you also have the product. Thank you. And again, you'll have some examples of how to rig this stuff up. I recommend you to watch the videos that Max did for us here at the shop,